Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Get ready for a heart-pounding journey as we delve deep into the enigmatic realm of classified captures. But beware, what lies ahead may chill your very soul. Without wasting much time, let's jump right into it. What do you see? It looks ancient and prehistoric, doesn't it? Like a creature straight out of those dinosaur documentaries with CGI reconstructions of prehistoric times. But what if I told you that this is no CGI creation? What if I told you that this is an actual capture from the wild? And no, those were not hypothetical questions. The creature you see on your screen is actually real. Is it an alien? No. Is it a clone of some dinosaur from the dinosaur age? No. And a big no to all the hypotheticals in your mind. The creature on your screen is known as a gharial, an endangered species of crocodile native to the Indian subcontinent. Yes, that's right, it's a crocodile, but one that's unique from the crocodiles you're used to seeing. This particular species, scientifically known as Gavialis gangeticus, have long, slender snouts which distinguish them from other crocodile species. Their distinct thin snout, which can be up to 2.5 meters or 8.2 feet long in length in adult males, is filled with interlocking needle-like teeth that are well suited for catching fish. As freakish as they look, they're not aggressive towards humans and only like to eat fish. So rest easy, there's no nightmarish-looking croc coming for you. But bear in mind, these animals are considered endangered and protected by law, so do not by any means go hunting one. You might just regret it. Still on the bizarre and strange, take a look at this next Trailcam capture. What does it look like? Claws, right? But what creature could have claws like that? What kind of creature could possess such claws? At a quick glance, they resemble humanoid hands, even a bit like primate hands. I mean, look closely and you start to see it. Although the hands look like they belong to a primate, the nails make it clear that they don't. Even if it is a primate, the creature in this Trailcam footage seems enormous. Gorillas are indeed large primates, but the angle of the capture implies something more humanoid, and as we know, gorillas are not humanoid. So is this some unknown creature roaming the woods? Or could it be a cryptid, say, Bigfoot? Share your thoughts in the comments section, as I'd really love to know what you think. Next, we have this unsettling piece of footage captured by a trail camera situated in the heart of the woods. The footage starts off as your regular trail cam footage involving wild animals. We have coyotes featured in this clip, however, they look like they're going about their usual nocturnal business, perhaps hunting for some food. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? Well, at least that's supposed to be the case until you notice those pairs of eyes stalking them. Whatever those are, it looks like they could be ginormous creatures, maybe even a Bigfoot. One thing worries me though, it looks like our little canine friends are oblivious to the presence of those creatures, which is quite weird. If you know anything about those canines, is that they've got keen senses, especially their noses. If those two large creatures are close enough for their eyes to be picked up on the trail cam, then they're also close enough to be noticed or at least smelt by those coyotes. Since that's not what's happening in the footage, a part of me feels like this whole thing might be doctored. What do you think? Would you drive through the woods with friends and family late at night seeking a thrill? If you said yes, then clearly you haven't seen this next footage I'm about to show you. The footage starts off with a woman screaming, and that's never a good sign. As the woman screams, we see a hooded being in front of the car staring at them. The stare is all sorts of evil and eerie. Aside from her, we see that the windshield of the vehicle is broken, which means that the occupants of the car most likely ran into whatever was staring them down. How is it still standing, though? Are they screaming because they thought they killed the being in the hood? If that were the case, they would have gotten down to see how whoever it was doing. They remain in the vehicle, however, and a few seconds, whatever that being is, jumps onto the hood of the car. Clearly, it's fine, and you don't need to be a psychic to know that that's definitely not normal. It's almost like a scene from a horror movie. But if it's not human, and if getting knocked down by the car was not enough to hurt or kill it even after the windshield of the car had been cracked, what do you think we're dealing with here? A shapeshifter? A skinwalker? The Grim Reaper? What exactly? Share your thoughts in the comments section. We'd love to hear them. Have you ever had to deal with those children that rang your bells and ran as soon as they rang them? Well, what if you had a camera to record and know which kids in the neighborhood did that to your bell? It would help, right? Well, I guess that's what the owner of the Trailcam that recorded this footage thought. In the footage, we observe a light-like object approaching the door. Once this light reaches the door, the bell starts ringing, leaving you with questions. What is this light and why is it ringing the bell? It's not a one-time occurrence that you could dismiss as a fluke or error. It happens multiple times, leaving you wondering what's really happening. That's what the owner thought and uploaded the footage online expecting to receive some help. All who saw it were also shocked by the whole thing. They unanimously believed that it had to be a ghost. Honestly, I'm inclined to lean toward the ghostly explanation as well. Yet some paranormal enthusiasts suggest it might be a bug or cobweb, which isn't entirely impossible given our camera experiences. However, the logical explanation still leaves the question of why the bell rings. So what do you personally think? Are we dealing with a bug or cobweb, or is there an actual ghost out there? Or could the whole thing just be a clever attempt to mislead us? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. And speaking of odd captures, take a look at this next one. Am I the only one who thinks that looks like a Bigfoot? Sure, it does look like an ape at first glance, but a closer look shows that despite its fur and ape-like body, it's actually standing and moving upright, something that apes aren't necessarily associated with. Only one creature, however, has long been associated with such features. Can you guess which? Yes, the cryptid, Bigfoot. Judging by the creature's appearance, it seems to be a mature one. Upon closer examination, my team and I zoomed in and noticed that it appeared to have a baby on its back. Take another look. Do you see it now? A baby Bigfoot? Ever heard of such a thing? If you answered no, you aren't alone, and that's what makes this piece of footage profound, as no other image like this exists. What do you think, though? Real or cleverly planned hoax? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Next, we have another footage of Bigfoot, which, although blurry, has been accepted by Bigfoot enthusiasts and the rest of the paranormal community as being authentic. In the footage, we see an ape-like creature with an almost human-like gait moving briskly through the forest. Oblivious to the fact it's being filmed, the creature, which is more brown than black in regard to the color of its fur, is described as maintaining a Bigfoot posture despite moving very quickly. According to Bigfoot experts, this is not a posture a human can attempt to maintain while moving that fast. The footage became so popular that almost everyone featured it, including some television stations. I find anything hard to dispute in this footage, and I'm leaning toward the fact that this is the real deal. What about you? Stepping away from the mysterious and unknown, we have wholesome footage that's sure to make your heart warm. Have a look. Yep, that's a chimp, all right, and yes, it invited that man over to fetch water from the stream so it could drink. It's not always you see something like this. It's surreal, almost dreamlike, like a scene from the Chronicles of Narnia. It's obvious that this chimp must have grown up around humans given the way it's comfortable around the man. And you have to give the man props for not overreacting and going along. All in all, this is a beautiful scene in an otherwise chaotic world. What do you think? Is this an experience you would love? Everyone loves to think that a weekend off in a cabin somewhere in the woods or a farm in the countryside might be relaxing and fun. Personally, I think so too, but it doesn't always turn out like that, and this next footage is a classic example of that. The individual recording this footage went to live out on his farm hoping to have a good time. This was soon interrupted by strange sounds from a creature he couldn't see. Listen.
Whatever reason, they're pretty close to the house this morning. Just out of sight, like usual.
You hear it, don't you? He eventually dismisses it and has his girlfriend come over, and she hears it too, this time on the roof. He goes out to try and chase whatever or whoever it is, but found nothing or nobody. The sounds continue for a few more days until he runs into the creature or perhaps one of them on one of the cold nights. He sends verbal warnings to the creature, but because he could not see it, it's hard to tell what he's dealing with. The camera's quality in the low light makes it difficult to tell what it really is. And given we can only see its eye shine, we can only speculate. Many in the paranormal community believe it could either be a skinwalker or a rake, but what do you personally think? Instead of introducing our next footage, perhaps I should let you watch and form your own opinions. Have a look. What do you think this creature is? It looks like a large reptilian lizard, but moves like a snake would. Although it does have legs, it almost looks as if it were slithering on the ground. If we know anything about lizards, it's that they don't move like that. And if we know anything about snakes, it's that they don't look like that. Some who saw it thought it was a creature from the underworld. Others also thought it was a prehistoric creature that had found a way to survive and remain hidden until now. But let's take a critical look at the video. If you look closely, you'd realize that it's missing its front limbs. If you have been a long-time subscriber on this page, then you know that crocs and gators sometimes lose their limbs by accidentally biting off each other's legs thinking it was meat. Sometimes it's also due to aggression. I have a strong feeling that this creature might have been a victim of such. That would explain its odd look and movements. That sounds more plausible than any of the explanations I mentioned earlier. What do you think, though? Also, is that a croc or a gator? Tell us in the comments section. If you thought that was weird and strange, then most likely you haven't seen this Trailcam capture. Imagine waking up to review the photos your Trailcam took only to find this. You might rub your eyes in disbelief thinking you are seeing things. You might probably tell yourself that you saw a wolf and mistook it to have a human form, only to take a second look and realize it's no fluke at all and you're actually not seeing things. An actual wolf-like creature with a humanoid body and nearly human facial expressions is captured staring at the lens of your trail camera. What would you do? Personally, I won't revisit that area again, at least not until and not without holy water, but this Trailcam owner posted it online to warn others. Bless his heart. What would you have done in such a situation? Tell us, as we really want to know. But you know, we can't move to the next footage without scrutinizing this. Do you believe it's real, or did we shower a lot of blessings and show a lot of respect to a man who only wanted his 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Still on scary stuff, we have a Trailcam capture that's the real stuff of nightmare. Have a look. Yep, that's an actual being with a skeleton-like head. As usual, the individual whose Trailcam captured these scenes was expecting a rare and beautiful image of some of the creatures that lived in the woods. Instead, he was greeted with this, which looks like what Ghost Rider might look like if he had flames put out. But do you think this image is actually real, or do you think someone is just playing practical jokes on the owner of the trail camera? Look at the image. Personally, I have so many questions and concerns. Instead of boring you with them, I would straight out state what I think. I think the whole thing is an elaborate hoax. Many in the paranormal community don't, however, think so, and some have stated that they have encountered stuff like this whilst in the woods as children. So instead of straight out dismissing it, I thought I'd include it and ask you guys, have you ever encountered anything like this in all the decades that you've lived? If you have, what was the experience like? Please share with us in the comments section. We'd love to hear them. Next, we have something that we can barely explain despite everything we have seen on this channel. We'll let you have a look for yourself. The footage starts off casually with a man trying to lift the face of a creature from the dark brown water. Given the color of the water, you may be tempted to suspect it's a catfish, but once the creature's face is raised out of the water, what we met with is unlike any creature we have ever seen. It looks like what would happen if a dolphin and a gator had a baby. But you and I know that's just not physically and biologically possible. Someone mentioned it might be a beaked whale, and we did the research, although there might be some semblances, we don't think that that's what this is. The murky water raises questions. Is it simply muddy, or could toxic waste in the water be causing mutations in creatures? In today's world, such scenarios aren't impossible, are they? Well, tell us what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts, because frankly, we're just lost about this. Would you visit a place called Dogman Forest? Well, these YouTubers thought it was a good idea to do so, and do so at night.
That was no geese.
That was like a howl. How annoyed is it?
Is that a goose?
A few minutes into their expedition, however, they hear an ungodly and unnatural howl. Stunned, they try to investigate and find the source of the howl. This leads them to a location near a flowing stream. When they arrive, the howls suddenly stop and they assume it's because of the rushing stream. Pay attention as they speak. Did you catch that? There was a creature moving in the background on the roof of the house behind them. Take a second look. Yup, there's definitely something or someone moving on the roof behind them. They and the majority of their subscribers believe it's the Dogman, and they believe the howl stopped because they were close to the Dogman. The Dogman became quiet because it didn't want to give off its position. That certainly sounds logical and plausible, but what do you think? Do you believe that's actually what happened? Tell us in the comment section. While the clarity of many creatures often leaves much to be desired, our curiosity remains undeterred as we delve into the content. Let's unpack this particular one. Deep in the remote wilderness, this intriguing footage was captured. As we analyze the video clip, we're greeted by serene natural landscape, lush trees, cascading grasslands, and flowing water body. However, amidst this natural splendor, an enigmatic dark figure comes into view. The figure appears blurry, possibly due to the low quality of the Trailcam footage. This blurriness raises curiosity about its true nature. Speculations arise that this could be another Bigfoot sighting, a notion not entirely implausible. But the question lingers, is this entity covered in hair? What is the purpose of this creature's presence? Moreover, what could have compelled it to remain so motionless for an extended duration? Some suggest Bigfoot may possess cloaking abilities, making this dark, tall, and lean figure even more intriguing. But is that possible, though? We find ourselves at a loss for words on this one. While this particular footage is questionable, the idea of Bigfoot with cloaking abilities isn't entirely over the top. Or is it? Let us know in the comments section. Unlike the first video we perused, this just took a rather gaudy turn. On the outskirts of town, three men embarked on a curious escapade into the woods, eager to uncover any oddities that caught their attention as true explorers. Indeed, you might be thinking what I thought. Why choose the pitch-black hours of the night for this adventure? As they ventured into the woods, one of them carried a camera and a source of light to illuminate their path. Little did they realize that the nighttime pursuit would lead them to a creature with sinister intentions. Their progress seemed steady until a sudden and jarring interruption brought everything to an abrupt standstill. In the heart of nowhere, a lifeless body lay sprawled on the ground. Hovering over it was a peculiar creature. A hybrid with oversized goat horns, a goat's countenance, and a humanoid form. Caught in the act, the creature responds by waving its hand dismissively before redirecting its attention back to its newfound feast. Now, without casting any shadows of doubt, it's my view that this might be a hoax, plain and simple. The peculiar creature in question appears rather mascot-like, especially with that all-too-human wave. It's almost as if it's engaging in human antics. Now, believe me when I say we have seen all sorts of things on trail cams, but never seen what I'm about to show you on a trail cam. Just in case you didn't know, that's the Grim Reaper. And just in case you didn't know, the Grim Reaper is known as the personification of death across many cultures. He's usually depicted as a dark hooded skeletal figure carrying a scythe, which is exactly what he is carrying in the capture. He usually shows up to collect the souls of those unfortunate enough to be at the point of death. So imagine knowing this and having him show up on your Trailcam at night. If that's not freaky, I don't know what is. But of course, we have to question the authenticity of this capture. Is it real, or is someone seeking their 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We know moose can get quite large, but this is just ginormous. Canada's vast wilderness often conceals the most astonishing spectacles of nature, and this footage captures one of its most magnificent inhabitants. Behold, a giant bull moose whose stature stands as a testament to the majestic wilderness it calls home. Stretching its formidable frame to a towering 7 feet, this creature commands awe as it moves its head studying its surroundings. And as befitting for such a king, it's the crown upon its head, the antlers that truly steal the show. As the lens captures this titan in all its glory, one can't help but ponder if it were crafted in a laboratory rather than born of the wild. The muscles, the mass, the sheer magnitude of this creature, it's a sight that borders on the surreal. A living testament to the mysteries of the natural world. So a call out to all our nature lovers out there. Have you ever seen such a beast? Do you have captures? Could you bless our email with them? Thank you in advance. Beautiful, isn't it? Looks like a thing from a fairy tale or Pixar movie, but it's not. Discovered in 2009 by zoologist Dr. Arthur Anker in Venezuela's Gran Sabana region, this moth is a unique find. The insect was snow white from head to toe, but for its eyes and dark spots for its wings. Despite this footage, there's a bit of mystery and controversy over the moth. Despite its discovery in 2009, there's very little information available about this moth, contributing to the ongoing controversy. Many don't think it's real. In fact, some think it's basically the silk moth wrongly identified. If the confusion and controversy prove anything, it's that we have a lot more to learn about our planet despite being here for thousands of years. But to our moth lovers and experts, what do you have to say about this one? Could you clear this up for us? And for our final video, we thought we'd take the scary videos up a notch. I mean, what better way to sign off than with a scare? Am I right? Well, never mind. Just take a look.
Están adentro, güey. Ay, güey. Vente, 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 adentro, güey. Acá adentro, acá adentro.
A team of ghost hunters ventured into a ghost town to explore in the dead of the night, and what you were seeing is the footage they captured. They started by checking out the buildings, which were all empty and mostly untidy. As the tour continued, they were brought to a halt by a sound, something like a scream.
Ay, güey, acá, acá. No sé, güey.
These fearless adventurers go around to find the source of the scream, but come up with nothing. They continue their search once more, and then they are once again interrupted by another loud sound. It sounded almost as if like someone was throwing something at them. Naturally, they were frightened, and you could tell by how they jumped back.
Ay, güey, acá, acá.
You'd think they'd turn back after this, but no, they went on to investigate the sound, but still found no one. As they proceeded with their quest, they noticed a figure from afar ignite a fire. It was hard to tell what or who it was, but they hoped that at least it was human. The lurker kept moving the fire in the air, almost as if it was warning them off the property before throwing the fire at the boys. After a while, the figure stops and the boys head in that direction, but as usual, they get there and there's no one there. They enter another room and see a cloaked figure from afar, and it also goes away as they get closer. This left the boys puzzled, and many of those who watched the video were puzzled too. Do you think the whole thing is legit? Thousands do, but we're not one of them. It looks too convenient and poorly executed, if you ask me. I mean, which sorcery can only throw fire a few centimeters away from himself? Not impressive at all. But what are your thoughts? Do you think this is real, or do you think those boys set it up for views? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. And that concludes it for today's episode. If you have any trail cam footage you'd like the rest of the world to see, please send it over to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll make sure to include it in our upcoming video and give you the due credit. It's a fantastic way to share your capture with the rest of the world, don't you think? See you in the next one.